Okay, we are up. What's up, everyone? What's up? What's up? I feel like it's been a really long time. It's actually been about a couple of weeks since I've been on live. Okay, I haven't gone on live since maybe right after the Crawford and Porter fight. All right, so it was either during that commentary or maybe right after, but I haven't been on live. Some of you don't know I was sick with food poisoning for a while, and I took some time off. I didn't make that much content in the last couple of weeks, but I still been as active as I could the last couple of weeks. I've been putting out some stuff. I did the Lyndon Arthur prediction video with Anthony Yard, and I also spoke on Devin Haney and Joseph Diaz. So if you haven't seen those videos, be sure to check those out. Um, Before we get started, I want to speak on Punch Drunk Boxing. Okay. Uh, I made a video late last night. His wife reached out to me, told me he was involved in a car accident. I currently still don't know the condition of Punch Drunk. Okay. As soon as I find out more info, I will definitely give you guys more details. I reached out today. I haven't heard anything new yet. The last thing I heard is that he was just resting in the ICU. So as soon as I get more information on him, I will definitely let you guys know what's going on. All right. But he was involved in a car accident. Again, I don't know the details of his injuries or anything like that, but pray and send your blessings over to Punch Drunk Boxing. All right. I see that the YouTube community, both on or just the boxing community in general on social media and everything, has been reaching out and showing a lot of love to him, so I appreciate anyone that's going over and showed any kind of love and support over to Punch Drunk Boxing. All right. So let's get into a shout out to the people that's here. Slick Rick is in the building. Lincoln Clay is here. We gotta I wanted to do a video on what's up, Clarence Peter. I wanted to do a video. So many fights coming up, and I just wanted to do a whole video. I was going to do like a cluster of a bunch of videos on different fights that's coming up, and I decided, you know what, why not go live? It's been a minute. I wanted to wait until I was fully recovered to get back on live. I was doing some content, but I didn't want to do it on the camera for too long. But I'm good. I'm feeling great. I've been great pretty much the majority of this week. I've been better. All right. What's up, Young Hollywood? I'm gonna try to be on tomorrow. I should be on tomorrow. All right, I should be on tomorrow. All right, so definitely check me out. I should be on. I wasn't too sure, but I should be on tomorrow. All right. Shout out to everyone that's coming in. Now, look, we got a lot to cover in this video. There's a lot of fights going on from now to the end of the year, and even some in the beginning early of next year. And I like the schedule. It seems like we getting back in rotation of things, and that's what I love. I was worried about for like a while. We were getting a lot of postponements, a lot of reschedules. A lot of people getting injured, pulling out of fights. There was a lot of just fights being canceled, and it seems like we're kind of sort of back. I think the only fight that's coming up that we were supposed to get that's getting rescheduled is Triple G. The next Triple G fight that's getting rescheduled. All right, against Murata. All right, so we're not going to get that fight for now due to COVID restrictions. But outside of that, we have a lot of fights coming up, and I went through the schedules. I pointed out some fights that caught my eye. Excuse me, that I really personally want to see, and I wanted to cover those fights and maybe give like quick predictions, quick ideas to see how the fights are going to go. But I'm going to start with this weekend's fights. Devin Haney and Joseph Diaz Jr. Their weigh-in actually just ended. I just watched, not the whole thing, but I saw the weigh-in. Both of them looks really good. Jojo Diaz looks good for the weight now. You know what I'm saying? He moved up, but he actually looks full. He looks healthy. He looks strong. He looks even better than what he did in the Javier Fortuna. So I think he's finally hit that peak for him at 135. He looked good at the weigh-in. Devin Haney always looked good, always looked strong at the weight. He's been fighting at this weight for a minute. All right. So it should be a good fight for tomorrow. And you also got Tank Davis against Isaac Cruz. That's going to be on Sunday. And then you also have the Anthony Yard, Lyndon Arthur 2 rematch. That's tomorrow as well, earlier in the day. All right. What's up, everyone that's checking in? Make sure you smash that like button. All right. So look, Anline said disappointed in Japan because of the postponements in the fights in Japan. The Oka fight too got postponed. I feel you. You know, that sucks because that's a fight. The fight against Casas was a fight I really wanted to see because we trying to get everything together at 115. You know, you guys that love 115, which is one of the best divisions in the sport. We want to get those unification matches. We want to get a real, true undisputed. And you know, this is why. And don't look forward to me doing any pound for pound list videos. I'm not doing any of them because there's divisions like 115, which I love, but it's hard to really tell who's the best guy at 115 right now. You know, Yoka's, all of these guys are good, you know, especially Yoka and Chocolatito. These guys are all good. So we just got to wait and see what's going on with the division. Hopefully by the end of the year of next year, we can have an undisputed at the at 115. All right. So anyway, let's talk about this weekend first. Let's start off talking about Haney and Diaz. I did a prediction, I did a breakdown, and I'm going with Haney on points to win. Okay, it should be a good fight though. I mean, Diaz always comes to fight. He's a dog, and I expect him to try to make it a dog fight at some point. You know, I think Devin Haney is definitely going to use his height and his reach to use the distance and fight behind the jab. I think Diaz is going to really come at him. All right, put some pressure on him. I mean, he's the experienced fighter between the two. All right, even though he's not the bigger fighter, you know, he hasn't fought at 135 the longest, but he has the experience. And I think it should be a good style matchup because Diaz comes to fight. Never really seen him in a boring fight like that. And Devin Haney, who boxes well, have good defense, but he lets his hands go. Don't get it twisted. The dude could fight too. He might not have the biggest punching power, but the dude could fight. You know what I'm saying? So it should be a really, really, really good fight. And you never know what's going to happen. I think Devin is going to take this one on points. But we saw a big upset last week with George Kambosos and Teofimo Lopez. You can't sleep on anybody. You can't sleep. This is boxing after anything. Anything can happen. All right. You know, but I think Haney is going to take it. I think he's focused. I think he's going to I think he has the skills, the talent to be able to beat Jojo Diaz. I have Diaz. Let me know in the comments who you guys got for the fight tomorrow. All right. Canmu says, love this upset. Wave coming to shock the boxing world. It will give us fights we need. I mean, you know what? You need upsets. You do. You really need upsets sometimes. It keeps people on their toes. You know, it keeps these fighters on their toes. But also it lets us know, like, this is why a lot of fighters cherry pick. They're really strategic on who they choose to fight because a lot of these guys are not as good as we think they are. You know, a lot of these guys, and again, I said this about Teofimo Lopez last week or earlier this week. I said it's not just because of his boxing ability. It's all mental. A lot of people say that he changed after he won the titles. I keep hearing that from people. I'm hearing that from a lot of the supporters of the channel. They said that he changed. He's not the same dude. The way he's talking in these interviews. And listen, change is not always bad too, you know, because when you step up and you level up in life, you're gonna think different. You're not gonna be the same. You're not gonna be the same. I personally know that. I experienced that throughout my life. You level up, you have to change. But Teofimo Lopez within this year started talking different. The interviews sounded different, you know, even when it's pops. And they looked at this guy, they're calling out Tank and they're calling out Ryan and they're calling out Devin Haney or you know, Josh Taylor. They talking about everybody but the guy that is next, you know. And I think that they underestimated him, and he actually paid for it, and it is what it is, you know. But me personally, I think that fight was that, because that fight there that happened last week, I just don't see the same thing happening this weekend. You know, I think Devin Haney is a different dude. He's not Teofimo Lopez. I think Devin Haney is still hungry because Haney feels he has more to prove right now, because a lot of people don't feel he's the real champ. And I've said this about Crawford, Terrence Crawford, for years. I've been saying this for years, because he's not getting the Spence fight, because of all the slander he gets for being over there in top rank and not fighting top welterweights, the things that people have said. Yes, there's a lot of people that view him as pound for pound the best fighter in the world, but there's a lot of people that feel that he's overrated. And he hears that a lot. We see that online a lot. And I think that keeps you hungry. You know, T.O., once he won, it seemed like a lot of people just rated him so high off the Lomachenko win. And I think he just forgot his roots. I think him and his pops forgot, where they really came from, and I think that's part of the problem. Sometimes you got to get humbled. Hopefully he can bounce back. And also he's going through a lot of personal stuff too. You know what I'm saying? He's going through a divorce. He's going through some real life stuff. He went through all that stuff with Triller. You think you're getting all this money for a fight, and then you don't get it. That got to mess with your mental, especially when you go from, you're making millions, but, there's you're a few digits away from what you were supposed to make, what you agreed to make originally. I don't know what happened and why that deal fell apart, but I'm sure all of that had to do with why he performed that way. Plus, on top of underestimating his opponent. All right. Anthony Yard, Lyndon Arthur too, threw a video out last night. This is a really important fight for Anthony Yard. If Anthony Yard loses again, which a lot of you guys think he will, if he loses again, I don't really know. That's going to be a bad loss. You lose to this guy twice in a row. People gave you a pass for losing to Kovalev because at that time he wasn't that experienced, and you gave a hell of a fight. It was a great fight, but you lose to Lyndon Arthur for a second time. That's going to really, really set you back. And I think at that point, people are not going to really have your name up there with the top dogs at 175. If you lose again, it's like, yo, something got to change. People have been saying for years, like, they got to get rid of Tundi. Tundi is not, he's not progressing with Tundi. I mean, we just got to wait and see. But there's a lot of stuff going on outside right now, a lot of activity. Don't mind that. But I think if he loses this fight, something got to change. Something got to go around. It's not working, It's been 3 fights. You get another third loss. I think he has a lot of potential. But again, he's looking really limited. And that was what my breakdown last night was about. Like, listen, the dude is sticking your jab in your face. What are you going to do about it? And I didn't see any adjustments made. I mean, you showed that you was capable of hurting him, but how much time did you give away before you started really putting it on? Like, can't be standing in that shoulder roll all night. You can't be just doing that Philly shell defense. You can't be doing that all night. Let's get into a high guard. Let's do some other things in order to close the gap between you two, and he really didn't do that in that first fight. He's going to have to do it in this rematch because Lyndon Arthur, he knows he has a good jab. He knows how to use that jab. He knows how to use that range, stay out of range. He knows how to move, he knows exactly what to do because he already did it, and I don't think it was no robbery. You didn't get robbed, bro. You just didn't do enough. It is what it is, Benji says, are UK fighters missing something? I don't think so. Why would I think that? You got UK champions out there. You got Josh Taylor. He's a UK fighter. I mean, what's his problem? What's up with him? You got a lot of champions out there. You know, I don't think they're missing something. I just think that this is just one fighter that I feel that wasn't fighting the right fighters to get better. You know, Yard, you got to remember, Yard doesn't have an amateur background like that. He just kind of naturally was a good boxer. He had great natural ability. It just wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? And he did good against Sergey Kovalev. I mean, he did good for the lack of experience that he had. It just didn't work out for him. All right. Anyway, I think Yard can pull it off, but I'm kind of like either way with it. You know, I think Arthur can definitely win it easily again. He can just outbox Yard to a decision, or Yard could end up stopping him. I don't know. It could be either way. We just gotta wait and see. What's up, D Style, man? What's good? I hope everything's good with you. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about Tank and Isak Cruz. I keep saying Isaac, but Isak Cruz. That's gonna be on Sunday, and you know, look, I'm not gonna do no breakdown of that. You know, I'm just not, because I personally think that Cruz, I think Cruz's style is kind of tailor made for Tank Davis. You know, um, Cruz is very aggressive. He's short. He's a killer for sure. All right, but I think where I say that his style is tailor made for Tank is Tank won't have to find him. You know, Cruz is his type of dude that's gonna be looking for him. He's a very aggressive fighter. He needs to get in on you. He needs to get in, get low, excuse me, and go to work. And that's exactly what he's going to try to do. And I think Tank, with his timing, he's going to time this dude coming in, you know, all aggressive, and he's going to get hurt. You know, Tank knows what he's doing, man. You might not like who the choice of opponents he has, but the talent is there. You know, I mean, I think he's one of those fighters when it comes to being really selective on who they face, but the talent is really there. They just they're just trying to max him out the amount of money they can make with that kid. They keeping everything in house. Yes, they are cherry picking, but the kid got skills. That kid could fight, and Cruz, he could fight too. He's a dog, but his style is tailor made for him. Tank is gonna be, listen, this dude's gonna be walking into every shot that Tank throw. You know, I actually think a lot of people weren't happy with the Rolly fight neither. People were happy with the Rolly fight after Rolly got canceled. You know, that's crazy, because when they first heard about Rolly, nobody really cared. A lot of people were like, this is another cherry pick. And then when Rolly got into that mess, the sexual assault situation, and he pulled out of the fight, now everybody is like, damn, we wish we would have got the Rolly fight. Because the thing with Rolly is so awkward. And I would prefer Rolly because of the awkward way of him fighting. You know, he doesn't do everything in a traditional way. You know, so I think him being the powerful fighter that he is and that weird style that he has, I thought he brought a little bit more than Isak Cruz. Cruz is just, he's a bully, you know, come forward, straightforward guy. Tank is, he's gonna take him apart, you know. Somebody left a comment, you know, I don't know if one of the supporters that's here listening now, somebody left me a comment like, what if Tank can't hurt him though? Well, if Tank can't hurt him, then Tank will definitely be in there for a long night, because you don't want to keep getting hit by that guy. But think Tank will hurt him. All right. That's what I'm banking on. All right. Other fights. Let's move on. Other fights that's coming up. Just make sure y'all smash that like button too. Cleon asked me, how much longer can Tank keep up this strategy of cherry picking fights? As long as they want to. As long as they want to. You know what I'm saying? As long as, I mean, the fighters that he's fighting are not bad. They're not bad at all. But they're winnable fights for Tank every single time. And I don't know how long they're going to do it, but they're going to do it as long as they want to. you know, because as long as he's fighting, he's still building up his name, his popularity, and he's making his money, you know, and these guys, they're not going to really put him in a risky situation unless it's well worth it. And it has to be really, really worth it. Unfortunately, none of the guys that's currently fighting at 135, it's worth it to them. Even Josh Taylor up at 140. Undisputed champions. You know, Teal held 4 belts, whether you thought he was undisputed or not. I'm not here to argue about that today. But he didn't even think Teal was worth it. Didn't think Josh Taylor, who was a legit undisputed champion, was worth it. So I really don't know. I really don't know. You know, I'm not going to go through the numbers. I'm not going to do all these videos talking about ticket sales, pay-per-view sales. I really don't care. You know, I'm not really here for it. I want to see Tank step up because I think he's good enough to do it. Yes, there's people out here that just want to see him lose. I get it. But there's people like myself who is a true fan of Tank Davis, just want to see him push himself to another level. Because right now, you have fights like the Gamboa fight where he didn't look good. And the reason why he didn't look good is because he wasn't fighting someone that he felt he needed to really step his game up for. You know how the fight is going to go before the fight even starts. You already know what's going to happen. So those be the fights you look bad in because you're not prepping the same. You know, you're going in there. You don't think your opponent is really that much of a threat to you. So those are the fights he looked bad in. Like if Tank was really focused and motivated for that fight, he would have destroyed Gamboa. You know? It is what it is. Benji asks, as fans of boxing, what can we do? Do we have people power? I don't think there's much we can do. And I say that because I've said this and I've said this countless times. And you guys know, how I feel about this. People are fans of the fighters. So Tank can do whatever he wants. At the end of the day, people that are fans are going to support him. These fights that Tank are put in these pay-per-view, because this is going to be a pay-per-view this Sunday. This fight is a pay-per-view, the fight that nobody asked for. Yet anyone that pays for that pay-per-view is paying just to see Tank fight. Nothing else. They're paying strictly, to see that kid fight. They don't care about the level. This is not just a Tank thing. This is just boxing fans, period. While there are people like on YouTube that create content to talk about Tank, all right, and how he's not fighting anyone good, there are another group that's supporting every single move he makes. It doesn't matter what he does. They'll never criticize him for it. And this is why things will never change, because there are people that are cherry picking or getting gifts or just doing sucker shit. And their fans are going to support them, ride it to the death. They don't care. They'll never slander them. They'll never criticize them. And this is why there's nothing we can do, because it's always going to be a balance there. There are going to be people that are against it, and there are going to be people that's for it, no matter what the fighter does. Even if it's a double standard, even if the next fighter, that same fighter that is, fan could be you could be critical on another fighter from a different background for those same exact reasons that you defend another fighter for. And that's a problem. Nobody's consistent. You give certain fighters a pass and others don't get that same pass. So as the people, all you can do is just don't support it. You personally say, you know what? I'm going to sit this one out. I'm not going to pay for this pay-per-view. That's all you can really do. If you don't want to see the fight, don't purchase the fight. All right. But don't expect, boxing fans, don't expect for everybody to just say we're all not going to support this fight because it's a bullshit fight. That's never going to happen because people support fighters more than the sport, you know? So if we're consistently getting a bad schedule, you got to understand that there are people that are going to support their fighters because they love the fighters no matter what. They're not going to even care who they're facing. You know, they're not going to care. All right. Loma versus Comey is next weekend. That's the next fight I had on my little list here. It's a pretty good fight. But I'm expecting Loma to win, and I'm expecting Comey to get stopped. Okay. I think Loma is going to stop him. I don't think it's going to be as quickly as a Teofimo Lopez knockout because Teofimo is a KO artist. That's what he do, you know, even though he lost. But Loma is a guy that works for the knockout. And this is what I said the other day when I made that video about Teofimo Lopez. I said, yo, get the knockout, but box to the knockout. Don't just go in there and try to land one punch and knock him out in the first round. What are you doing? Lomachenko is going to beat you up all the way up into the point where you either give up or you just get stopped. You know, and I think Comey, this is going to be a little bit similar to Nicholas Walters. All right. Comey's feet is not going to be able to keep up with Lomachenko. Lomachenko is going to be stepping around him. He's just going to be doing too much. And Comey is not going to be able to keep up with Loma. You know, when I heard about this fight, that's the first thing I thought. You know, because Comey's a big puncher. You know, he's a strong fighter. He's a big puncher. You know, he's a scrappy dude. He can box, but we know him for being in wars and stuff, right? Lomachenko's going to break him down. All right. From the ground up to the body up, from the body up. He's going to break him down round by round. All right. He's just going to break him down. And then at some point, he's going to stop him, in my opinion. All right. This is not going to go 12. I mean, Comey has a puncher's chance for this fight, but he doesn't have a real chance in beating Lomachenko. He's been outboxed before, and he's been stopped before. And Lomachenko is gonna do the same thing. All right. Hopefully Lomachenko, if he is to win and look impressive winning, hopefully I think that he's due for some kind of top fight at that point. You know, if it's not a title fight, he's definitely due for one. You know, because he would be stopping Nakatani and then possibly stopping Comey to see. Well, that's if that happens. We gotta wait and see. All right, but that fight is next weekend. That's gonna be on Top Rank next weekend. It's not a pay-per-view or anything. You got Jared Anderson on that undercard. You got Xander Sayes on that undercard. You got Keyshawn Davis, who just recently signed with Top Rank. He's gonna be on that undercard, and you have Ali Walsh gonna be on that undercard too. For you big Ali Walsh fans out there, the hundreds and thousands of Ali Walsh fans that's out there, he's gonna be on that undercard too. All right, so let's move forward. Derevyanchenko is going to be making his return to fight Carlos Adames. I like this fight. I actually like this fight. Derevyanchenko, how much left does he have in the tank? I have no idea. If he is truly done, and this is going to be on this weekend's undercard of the Tank Cruz fight. If he is truly washed up, we'll know. All right, because Adames is good, but I would think Derevyanchenko would beat him. All right, I would think he would be able to beat Carlos Adames. If he can't, I think it's time for him to hang it up. You know, especially because he's been taking a lot of damage in his most recent 2 losses. All right, and he hasn't been that active. But this should be a good fight. I'm actually looking forward to this fight. Good fight, you know, and not doing any predictions on that because I just don't know where Derevyanchenko really stands at this point. You know, again, 2 back-to-back losses where he took a lot of punishment, and you know, he hasn't been active, you know, outside of those 2 fights. He went a year off, again, 2 years in a row. So Yeah. Fundora is also fighting Sergio Garcia. That is a good fight. I did see that on the schedule. I had that on my little list here too. That's going to be a good fight. That's going to be on the undercard as well. I believe on the undercard of Tank and Cruz. All right, that's a good fight. Sebastian Fundora, that's that really tall guy that's at 154. He's at 154 and he's like 6'6". I think you guys seen him before. Got knockout power and stuff. That young kid, he's gonna be on that on the card, I believe. All right, that's a good fight. That's a really, really good fight. I like seeing that kid, and he's fighting an undefeated fighter. This is a step up for him and fighting Sergio Garcia. So be on the lookout for that. That's another good fight that's on the come up. All right, so another fight coming up. Nonito Donaire is going to be fighting Raymar Gaballo. All right, Gaballo, I don't know much about him, but I just seen him for the first time fight last year against Manny Rodriguez. All right. That was my first time watching him fight. He's a fighter from the Philippines as well. Showed a lot of punching power against Manny Rodriguez in that fight. It was on the card of Keith Van Heerden against Jerome Boots Ennis. That fight was a good fight. That was a good fight. So be on the lookout for that. Good to see Donaire back in there. I still, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done at 118. But that should be a pretty good fight. That's a good fight that I'm looking forward to seeing. Another fight coming up. Conor Ben, yes, that's on my list as well. I'm gonna get through. I'm getting through it. I'm trying to go through the order of when fights are coming up. But yeah, I have that one there too. That should be that's gonna be next weekend. All right, that's gonna be next weekend, and I think that's a really good fight to have, especially after what we saw with Conor Ben in his last fight against Adrian Granados. We know that Chris Algieri is a mover. All right, he's a mover. So with that being said, we've seen that Conor Ben had struggle in his last fight against Adrian Granados, who is normally not a mover. Okay, he's a dog. He usually comes at you. He's right in front of you most of the time, Granados. So when Granados did what he did and made, Conor Ben was forced to chase him to make the fight happen, Conor Ben didn't look that good. All right. He didn't know how to cut off the ring. All right. He didn't really know what to do and know how to deal with the movement of Adrian Granados. So now he has to fight Chris Algieri, who's going to definitely try to take advantage of that. All right. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. Gotta wait and see. But this is a fight that Conor Ben really wants to show up because Chris Algieri's been in there with a few good ones. He's been in there with some good pressure fighters. He's been in there with Provatnikov. He's been in there with Manny Pacquiao. He's been in there with Amir Khan. He's been in there with Errol Spence Jr. when Errol's on to come up and fighting him to step, to show what he really had against a mover. And he passed the test. All right. So Conor Ben is going to have to fight a little bit different. He's going to have to hope he's prepared a lot for this fight here, because this fight can make him look bad again if he's not preparing to fight against a mover like in his last fight. All right. I'm biased. Thank you. Appreciate it. So this is another one. I'm expecting Conor Ben to win, but is he going to look good winning? And that's pretty much it. He knows what we all know what he has to do. But it could be it can be one of those nights, man. You never know. It could be one of those nights. And if Algieri is using his jab, Conor Ben can't get past it. Conor Ben end up just following him around the ring, and it could be one of those fights. You never know. All right. But I think Conor Ben is going to take care of business. We just got to wait and see. All right. Artur Beterbiev is going to be fighting Marcus Brown. Like, this is a fight that I'm really, really looking forward to. Really, really looking, because Marcus Brown is my friend. That's my guy. And I'm really rooting for him. That's my dude. I want him to win. And I'm going to get my feelings out of it, though. All right. Because we know Beterbiev is a beast. He's a beast. It is what it is. And Marcus Brown definitely has the ability to fight and box with anybody in that division, but his chin is the issue. You know, when he gets touched with a good shot, you know, doesn't really take him that well. All right. And Beterbiev is one of the pound for pound biggest punchers in this sport. All right. And he's already shown, he's already proven how good he is. All right. He's unified. And he didn't fight no pushover to become unified. Like, he's really legit unified. Like, he's pound for pound level unified champ. Now, he didn't look good in his last fight. I know he was inactive for a while. He had COVID. He suffered some injuries. He wasn't involved in a lot of reschedules before his last fight. So he looked rusty. All right. If he is still rusty against Marcus Brown, who also hasn't really been that active. And I think his last, I don't believe, let me look him up real quick. I don't think Marcus Brown has been in the ring since he lost to John Pascal. Okay, he has fought. He did take a tune-up fight earlier this year in April. I didn't see that fight, but he beat a journeyman unanimously. Right, won every round, swept him, 10-rounder. Excuse me. But he lost to John Pascal. All right, but he looked great against Badou Jack. You know, he looked good. All right, but he's been a bit shitty throughout his career. So hopefully, what up, John? Yeah, we gotta just wait and see. It's a great fight. I'm rooting for Marcus, but Beterbiev is a beast, man, and you don't want to be getting caught by that dude. That dude power is crazy, you know. So I think, you know, Beterbiev, if anything, I mean, he's definitely got to be the favorite to win this fight, you know. But I think Marcus Brown, with his boxing ability, I think he's definitely capable of winning if he could find a way to get it to a decision. But Beterbiev is a beast, man. Again, he's a beast, and I don't know if he's going to be able to pull that one off. You know, we just got to wait and see. All right, but good luck to him. Put it on here only because it's happening, and I think this is the only fight. Jake Paul is going to be fighting Tommy Fury, and I know a lot of you don't care about that, but the only reason why I'm really interested in it is because I think Tommy actually has a shot. You know, I think Tommy is a better boxer than anyone that Jake Paul has faced by far. And I don't even think Tommy's that good, but, you know, I think he brings a lot more to the table than anybody that Jake Paul has been in there with. And I know that's not saying much, but it's something. You know, Tyron Woodley wasn't it. I think Tommy Fury would beat Tyron Woodley in a boxing match. So this is why I think that he should be able to win the fight. You know, if everything is clean and everything is fair, you know, I know they were talking before about something with the drug testing. All right, something about Jake Paul didn't take the test yet. Listen, if all of that is cleared up and everything is good, I'm expecting Tommy Fury to win that one. You know, even if it goes on points, I still think that Tommy should be able to win that one. You know, I can't see him really losing to Jake Paul. Now, let me not say that. I don't want to go that far. But I think Tommy, even though he's not that great, I still think he's better than Jake. All right. Katie Taylor got a fight coming up. Amanda Serrano got a fight coming up. Jessica McCaskill got a fight coming up tomorrow. She's going to be on the undercard with Haney. So a lot of female fighters coming up. A lot of matches coming up with them. You know, I really want to see Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano fight each other. That would be great. I'm just kind of waiting to see that. You know, we'll see. Maybe McCaskill and Katie Taylor have their rematch, you know, in the near future. Just waiting to see everything. You know, just waiting to see. You know, we've been getting good fights, though. Joseph Parker against Derek Chisora 2 is coming out. They're coming up later this month, I believe. And I'm expecting Joseph Parker to win again. You know, I just think that Derek Chisora is good. I like him. I love Derek. You know, he's definitely one of my favorite, you know, I don't want to have to call him a journeyman, but he kind of is. You know, he kind of is. He kind of is a journeyman. He's like an elite level journeyman. You know, if you catch him on a wrong night, he will definitely give you the business, but he usually loses to everybody that's at an elite level, you know, and I still think Joseph Parker is just better. You know, I know he caught Joseph early in that fight, but I do think that Joseph edged it. You know, I think Joseph edged it. I just don't feel like Derek ever does enough. You know, I think he won the first Dillian White fight, but it was one of those swing round fights. Like, it was so many swing rounds because it was just a war, you know, but it is what it is. He said Chisora is no journeyman. I mean, he's a top contender. So he's not a journeyman. He's a top contender, but he's more like a gatekeeper. Let me say that. Not journeyman. He's more like a gatekeeper for the top guys that's looking to get those bigger fights. That's what he is. All right. You know, I think him and like Gabe Rosado are like those two guys that they're always gonna get good fights against up and coming guys or seasoned guys that want to still prove where they're at, you know, in this sport. And those two are like the top two of those type of guys, in my opinion, you know. So yeah. Chisora versus Wade would not be a good fight. It would be a good fight on fight night if we both have controllers in our hands. All right. But yeah, not in a real fight. Nah. All right. So we got this heavyweight card coming up. I believe earlier in the year, Luis Ortiz and Charles Martin. And it's a PBC card, and it's supposed to be a pay-per-view. First off, I'm just glad to see Luis Ortiz back in the ring. Like, I just want him to fight somebody that was good. I've been asking this as a Luis Ortiz fan. I've been wanting to see him fight someone that's relevant outside of Deontay Wilder. And Charles Martin is one of those dudes, you know, like, it's a respectable fight. I don't know why it's a pay-per-view. I know it's a lot of heavyweights on there, but I don't think it's worth being a pay-per-view. You know, if it was a pay-per-view and it was like a $19.99 pay-per-view or $24.99, I can see that. I think they need to start if they're just going to keep throwing out pay-per-views, and I don't know how much this fight is going to cost, but if they're going to keep doing this, at least lower the price, man. Don't give us don't try to hit us over the head with no $69.99 or even $59.99 for this fight, or even $49.99 is too much. I don't know what they're going to charge it, but I think they're doing too much. All right. But I like the fight. You know, Charles Martin is a southpaw. Luis Ortiz is a southpaw. I don't know where it's going to go because I don't know how old Luis Ortiz will look on that night in the fight. You know, he hasn't been that active. So I'm not sure how that fight is going to go. But I like the fight. All I'm saying about it is that I like it. I don't know who's going to win. I mean, I'm rooting for Luis Ortiz, but I don't have no issues with Charles Martin. You know, I like Charles Martin. I mean, he only said the greatest quote in boxing history, so I got to love Charles Martin. You know, Charles Martin said he walked this earth like a god. Like, how can you not like him? I mean, he went on to get knocked out in like 2 rounds, but how can you not like that dude? You know, I like Charles Martin for real. Like, I think he's good. And even after that loss, like, he had some good scraps. You know, he had a great fight with Kanaki. That was one of the better heavyweight fights that year. He was able to destroy Gerald Washington, who's also going to be on this card too. I like that. I like him. You know, Josh, I'm doing good. Thank you. Frank Sanchez is going to be fighting Carlos Legron. That fight doesn't do it. You know, it doesn't do it. It's going to be a good fight for Frank Sanchez. Good, active, stay busy fight, and nothing more. You know, Carlos Negron, he's not that guy to give a guy like Frank Sanchez any real issues. You know, Frank Sanchez, good boxer, has solid power. I'm expecting Frank Sanchez to get him out of here at some point. And definitely outscore him, but possibly get him out of there and stop him at some point. And then the fight that I really want to see on this card is the Jonathan Rice against Michael Coffey rematch. I want to see that fight. I really want to see that fight. You know, Michael Coffey got to step up his defense, man. I don't know what happened in that first fight, man, but he got destroyed in that fight. And Jonathan Rice is tough. He's been giving everybody a tough scrap. He's been in there with a lot of dudes, but Michael Coffey needs to step up his defense, man, because he was getting hit with every single, I think it was every right hand that Rice drew. It was just easily disconnected all night long. But I'm looking forward to that rematch. That was a good fight. You got Joe Smith Jr. Joe Smith Jr. against Callum Johnson. And you know what? To be honest, I think Joe Smith is going to destroy him, man. You know, Callum Johnson is cool. He has a lot of power, but I think a lot of it has to do with, I think we're still riding off that knockdown against Beterbiev. It was a good scrap for the amount of time that it lasted. But I really don't think, like, Callum Johnson hasn't really proven that he's like a real top dog in the division. You know, I mean, he has a lot of power. Joe Smith, he has the power. You know, I like his stamina. He has good stamina. You know, I like his work rate. You know, not the cleanest boxer and stuff. You know, it's not the prettiest boxer. He doesn't do everything all pretty and stuff. But I like him, man. He brings a fight. He's a dog. And it should be a great war for the time that it lasts, because Joe Smith is definitely going to bring the fight to Callum Johnson, and Johnson is not going to hold back, and he has punching power, and he can possibly hurt Joe Smith Jr. too. So that should be a good fight for the amount that it lasts. But I have Joe Smith Jr. stopping Callum Johnson in that fight. All right. Amir Khan versus Kell Brook. Only 10 years too late. All right. But I still like the fight. I think I even made a video like a couple years ago saying that I'm still interested in the fight. And I've been saying to me, listen, if you've been listening to my videos about Amir Khan for years, I've always said that definitely praise up for Punch Drunk. I've been saying for years, Amir Khan will not fight Kell Brook. He will fight him, but he will not fight him until everything is done and there's nowhere else to go. That is going to be the last resort. And I've been saying this for years. I've been saying this at least since Kell Brook lost to Triple G. This guy will never get an Amir Khan fight until Amir Khan got no other place to go. Because at this point, the fight will always be big. And this is what I said. The fight, if they have it out in the UK somewhere, the fight will always be big. You know, it's a big British scrap, no matter how old. Yes, it would have been bigger at one point, but it'll still be big out there for them. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. This is why they're fighting at this point. I don't know who's going to win. I think back then, I would have picked Brook. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how durable Brook is. You know, I don't want to sleep on Khan. Khan is he's older, but he's still very fast. He boxes very well. I wouldn't sleep on Khan. And I think Khan is capable of hurting Kell Brook. You know, and Kell Brook is very capable of hurting Amir Khan too. You just got to wait and see. You know, once that bell ring, I don't know how it's going to go. You just don't know. You know, I can see Khan outboxing Brook to a decision. I can see Brook being outboxed and then catching Khan with a good shot and hurting him, you know, and possibly stopping him, you know. But don't be surprised if Khan is able to get the stoppage either, because Brook just got stopped in his last fight. Brook got stopped against Errol Spence. He got stopped against Triple G. All right. So Brook is not the most durable fighter neither. They both have lost fights and they both have been stopped. All right. You don't know. But you know what? Not really asking for it now, but at this stage of both of their careers, why not? People still buy and pay, dress it up with a good, decent undercard. And I think people will still show up for the fight and see it. I still definitely would love to see it. All right. All right. Couple more fights left. Jamel Charlo, Brian Castano rematch has been ordered. Speaking of fights getting ordered, before we even get into that, we need more unifications to be ordered. I think things will get cleared up. If these fighters don't have a mandatory, let's start ordering more unification matches like this one. I mean, obviously, this is getting ordered because it was a very close, competitive fight, and we didn't get a winner. Most people think Castano won the fight, all right? But I like the fact that this is getting ordered. We were almost going to go into some mandatories that need to get worked out. And I understand that at times, but you know what? This is undisputed. That should trump any mandatory fight that needs to happen. All right? That should trump that. So let's get this rematch going so we can know who's the best in this division and we can all move on. Let's get an undisputed fight. Even if a fighter has to get stripped after, let's get it undisputed. It happens all the time. Guys get undisputed. Titles get taken right after. Let's at least know who's the best in the division so we can move on to the Tim Tszus out there and all the other fighters that's out there at 154. All right. But as far as the fight, Chris Cross, thank you for the donation. It's crazy. Undisputed is one fight away in many divisions. Yes. And you know what? If we're gonna be honest with each other, we can really get undisputed in just about all of these divisions if they just get everything. Everybody gets everything together and stop worried about letting the politics get in the way. We can really get an undisputed fight in all of these divisions if they really just get rid of the nonsense with the politics and the networks and the stupid fans that just that don't want these fights to happen. Yusuf, thank you for the donation. He says, welcome back, Wade. Glad to see you feeling better. Who you got in the rematch? I don't really know, man. I've been thinking about it. I really don't know. I can't give you a straight answer right now. But I'll say this. I think both fighters can definitely make some adjustments for the second fight. I think both fighters could make some adjustments that's going to be better for them. I think Charlo on his end, keep your back off the ropes, bro. You don't belong there. And I know at times you set up your best shots, some of your best shots in the fights by leaning on those ropes and trying to punch Castano in between his shots. So I get it. I get the strategy in that. But with that, you took too many shots and you got outworked. All right. You can't just let Castano just keep teeing off on you. I know you're waiting for that single shot, but when you don't get the stoppage, when you can't knock them down, it's harder to win those judges over because they're giving it to the guy that outworked you. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, Jamel Charlo, keep your back off the ropes. Try to keep this fight in the center of the ring. Go for the setups, but if you're gonna put yourself in the ropes, don't stay there. Don't keep yourself there for too long. Same thing with Castano. With as far as what he was doing was working for him. All right. The problem is he got a little too reckless. Listen, shorten those combinations. You don't want to get set up. You don't want to get trapped. All right. And end up getting countered with a hook like the way you did in those first fights. You might get caught with a hook this time where it might actually knock you down and you might actually not be able to get up and continue. So Castano, shorten the combinations up a little bit. All right. Let's not get too reckless. Sometimes he goes crazy and he ends up getting caught with a shot in between those combinations he throw. This be a little bit more defensive. I think both fighters can do a little bit more to be a little bit better. I think this Castano got to tighten that guard up a little bit more. I think it should be a great fight, man. The first one was a great fight. Again, most people thought Castano won the fight, but it was a good fight. It was definitely a good fight. Jamel definitely hurt him more and landed the bigger shots, but Castano hurt him too at points, and Castano was more active. All right. So Jamel, he's gonna have to let his hands go, but he has to be smart as well as far as like where he's keeping himself at. Castano's a good boxer. He's a very good boxer. So he knows now. Jamel has been involved in a rematch before, and he passed the test before when he fought Tony Harrison in a rematch. So hopefully he can do the same with this fight. All right. Haney for Cambosos. Well, Haney got to win the fight tomorrow first. Let's not jump the gun. And we can't jump the gun because we don't know if Cambosos is gonna actually fight Haney. I seen him agree to it on camera. That was cool of Cambosos. He seemed to be a really solid dude. He seemed like he really want to fight the best. He even seems to want to really clear up this whole belt situation, which I like. And that's part of the reason why I want him to fight Haney, because of the belt situation. All right. But listen, if there's an opportunity for him to fight Tank Davis, if there's a real opportunity, I expect him to fight Tank Davis. If there's an opportunity to fight even a Ryan Garcia, even though he hasn't been active and he left the game for mental health, I guarantee you he will probably take, this is going to be a whole thing this year, trying to figure out who that next opponent really is going to be. So we don't know if it's going to be Haney. I want it to be Haney only because I want to clear up this whole belt situation. I know people feel that because Mauricio Solomon said it's undisputed, it's official. He said it. But he also said that the franchise title mean a whole lot of different things just a couple years back. So I want to just end this whole dispute. Whatever way you go with it, with the undisputed thing, I just want to end it and shut everyone's mouths, and we have one champion. That's all I want. All right. But, I wouldn't be mad if it was Tank. I wouldn't be mad if it was Loma. I really don't want it to be Ryan Garcia, though, because I don't like the fact that Ryan can just disappear, leave the game, and then come back and get a 4-belt, undisputed, whatever you want to call it, title opportunity. I don't like that. I don't think that's right for the fighters that's been putting in the work all year, consistently, for a guy that just stepped out of the game, left the game for mental health issues. I don't, nah. All right. So that's the way I feel about that. If Loma win his fight, if Haney wins his fight, and if, I think one of those two should definitely get it. Tank, he seems to be doing his own thing over there. So, it is what it is. Who do I got between Tank and Cruz? Tank. I said earlier in the beginning of this video, Cruz is tailor-made for Tank. Tank won't have to find him. Tank will be there waiting for Cruz to get to him, and Tank is going to hurt him, and I think Tank is going to hurt him, and I think Cruz is going to slow down with that aggression. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Cruz is very aggressive, but once he get hit, he get caught coming in, he's going to change his tune a little bit. I don't think he's going to continue being aggressive all the way through. All right. And last but not least, Demetrius Andrade. Andrade got ordered by the WBO to fight Janovic, okay, which is a great fight. If you don't like Andrade, if you don't think he fought anyone, this is a good fight, a dangerous fight, up-and-coming guy, the most dangerous up-and-coming middleweight that's in the game right now, in that division right now, undefeated, big power, southpaw, good fight, legit fight. I like the fight, and I can't wait to see it. And if Janovic could be, if he is to win this fight, That's going to push him up there with the top dudes in the middleweight division. If Andre wins this fight, I don't understand how people can just keep hating the dude. You know, the guy can box. So that's a good scrap. Can't wait to see that scrap. I figured that fight was coming. You know, I know Andre has wanted to unify with Triple G and unify with Jamal Charlo, but this fight is a good fight. If we're not going to get the unifications, this is a good fight, you know, for the WBO to order. All right. So yeah, all good fights. I'm sure there's more fights to come, but I wanted to go over the current fights that we had coming up that are scheduled that are coming up. All right. Shout out to everyone that's here. Who Andrew asked me who's the best lightweight right now, who will win the tournament out of all of them. I got Loma. This is what Andrew Smith has says. I don't know, man. I have to see it. I don't know. You know, I know Cambosos. You know, if you asked me last week, I would have told you Teofimo Lopez based on the Loma win. But right now, I don't know. You know, I know Cambosos won, but I also believe that it was an upset. I don't think he's automatically the best. I think he's the best based on the titles he holds, but I don't think he's the best, proven best at 135. Shakur is down at 130, so I'm not including him. But 135, you got Loma still, T.O., Cambosos, Tank. I don't know, man. Devin Haney. It could be any of these guys. Ask me again next year. Ask me again next December when these guys actually fight each other. You know what I'm saying? Ask me after Cambosos' next fight if it's a Haney against a Haney or a Loma or something like that. You know? But right now, I don't know. It's like asking me who's the best at 115 right now. Is it Estrada? People put Estrada in his top 10. In a pound for pound, did he even win that last fight? You know, is it Chocolatito? Is it Ioka? Who is it? Is it Unconscious? I don't think it's him, but I think it could be one of those other three guys. You could arguably put all those other three guys in your pound for pound. You know? So I don't know. So asking me about 135 is too incomplete for me to even know. The belts are just getting moved around all over the place right now. Punch Perfect, thank you for the donation. Keep doing your thing as well. Young channel, make sure you guys subscribe to Punch Perfect Boxing. All right, young channel on the come up, putting out a lot of content. All right, so anyway, just gotta wait and see, man. Wait and see. All right, so look, I'm out of here, man. It's been an hour. I did all the fights. You know, I went down a good long list of upcoming fights. If you are new, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, please smash that like button. All right, share the video. Again, if I do get, you know what? Let me just check my phone now just to make sure no one hit me up. As soon as I get some kind of update, or if anyone on YouTube, because people know if anybody can get updates on Punch Drunk Boxing, you know, if his wife contacts me again, I will definitely let you guys know exactly what's going on with him. All right. I just haven't heard from her today, so I don't know. All right. But I will definitely let you guys know as soon as I find out. And I'm going to try to cover all the fights tomorrow if I can. All right. So be on the lookout for tomorrow. We got 2 cards tomorrow. We got 1 on Sunday. I'm going to try to get y'all. I'm going to try to hold y'all down. All right. Especially because I've been off the live for the past couple of weeks since Bud Crawford and Porter. All right. Anyway, Jay, thank you for being a new subscriber, man. I hope you enjoy the work, the content. Peace to everybody in here. Greg T, William Project, Greg, Olaf the Mighty. Who else is in here? Atto, Too Fatty, Gurgaruga, Ranks Shooter, Alex, Hero, Boxing Pound for Pound Jack, Venice. Who else I seen in here? I see Benji. Everybody that's here. All right. I'm out, man. See you guys on the next one. Peace. Y'all have a good night.